Unloads 500 pounds of marijuana.
The lingering rain still holding on for this Thursday, and we've got to discuss road closures. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And a birthday band, gun salutes, even a Barbie. We check in on celebrations to mark Queen Elizabeth's 96th birthday.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Man is involved in a crash that scattered 500 pounds of marijuana across the interstate. This is KWAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes. A multi-vehicle crash on Wednesday that sent 3 people to the hospital, 2 of them from Mexico, arrested on felony drug trafficking charges. Coincidentally, it happened on 4/20, the unofficial holiday for marijuana. Troopers say a semi swerved to avoid a previous crash on Interstate 70 east of Columbia, and that's when a pickup rear-ended the semi. A second semi, driven by Glenn Doyle from Joplin, then traveled off the left side of the road and struck the pickup. The crash scattered bags of marijuana across multiple lanes. Neither Doyle nor the other truck driver were injured, but 3 people in the pickup, all from Mexico, were taken to the hospital. 2 of them are facing felony drug trafficking charges and are scheduled to appear in Montgomery County Court. Well, a new marijuana dispensary opened in Ottawa County on Wednesday. According to Canatech firm Akerna, marijuana sales are expected to hit $130 million, up 16% from a year ago. The owner of State Line X1, John Thomas Buck, says he specifically chose 4/20 for his grand opening.
It's kind of a novelty holiday to some, but some take it serious as a day to connect with people they care about and having a good relaxing day, I believe. And I believe it's just growing as a day to actually see and look forward to in a holiday calendar.
Marijuana is legal, but only for medical use in both Oklahoma and Missouri. Kansas has yet to legalize the drug.
Who knew? 4/20, who knew?
Yeah.
You know the background of it?
I'm sure you have a fun story for me.
Evidently, there was a group of high school students out in California that would regularly gather, this is during the 70s, they would regularly gather at 4:20 in the afternoon to partake. And I don't know how they popularized it from there, but yeah.
At least it was after school.
Legend has it that's where it came from. Skywatch Storm Tracker with the heavy cloud cover, but more importantly, let's talk a little bit about our rain. We've got a lone lightning strike that is just hitting the northwestern section of Jasper County right there. Without the clouds, we see that heavy rain moving right across the state line from Cherokee County into Jasper County. We'll be able to pick up a little bit of that from our Joplin sky camera here in just a little bit. More importantly, it's what had transpired down to the south earlier this morning. You see those circular icons right there? Those are storm reports with a number of highways that are closed. Those include Route CC in Newton and McDonald County, as well as Route D. And a current look at the Missouri Department of Transportation indicating you can expect those to be closed for essentially the rest of the afternoon and evening until we get this rain to subside. Now, additional rainfall shouldn't really hamper south of I-44, certainly nothing torrential like what we did have. And eventually, as we kick this rain off for the later afternoon hours, a nice little warm up here as we're already seeing a smattering of 70s. Joplin sitting at a very comfortable 68 and continuing to warm up all the way into the mid 70s. Now that we're just about done with our rain, we'll be kicking back and looking at a great end of the work week because we're going to get partly sunny skies and look at those temperatures hovering around 80 degrees for Friday. Tanya, coming up here in just a little bit. Do want to say one more thing about Friday. Oh my, it is going to be a windy one. Not going to be surprised if we don't take some of our flood warnings that we have right now, replace those with wind advisories for pretty much all day tomorrow.
Well, it didn't happen on 4/20,
no,
but
it
it
did
looks
not.
like our temperatures are going to get much higher on Friday.
It was funny. I didn't have an icon to put on the map for yesterday.
Yeah.
They don't give us access to that icon on the 7-day forecast.
For sure, for sure. And the cloud cover really kept things from getting higher, so it didn't happen.
The temperature in the cloud cover drastically
Yeah.
helped yesterday afternoon.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, Britain's Queen Elizabeth turns 96 today. While she celebrates her birthday in private, plenty of public festivities are underway. CBS's Tina Kraus takes us to London for the story.
It's a song Queen Elizabeth will hear more than once this year, as the nation celebrates her 96 years of life. with a tribute on her actual birthday Thursday and a second in June when the weather is warmer.
This is very much someone who's looking forward despite being 96 years of age, and she may spend her actual birthday fairly quietly in private.
The Queen isn't getting around as easily as she used to and has canceled a number of events since having COVID 2 months ago. But she posed with her ponies in this new photo to mark her birthday. And the royal family tweeted a picture of Princess Elizabeth at age 2. Queen Elizabeth got an early birthday gift last week when her grandson Prince Harry and his wife Meghan flew in from California. The couple was in Europe for a charity event and told NBC the Queen was in good spirits.
It was great. It was just so nice to see her. You know, she's on great form. She's always got a great sense of humour with me, and both Meghan and I had tea with her, so it was really nice to catch up with her.
Prince Harry said his grandmother is looking forward to her Platinum Jubilee this summer, which marks her record-breaking 70 years on the throne. Toy maker Mattel has rolled out a Barbie doll in the Queen's likeness to honor the longest reigning monarch in British history. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
That Barbie would be a nice collection to my Funko Pop. Yes. The Queen is spending her birthday at the Royal Sandringham Estate in eastern England, a favorite country retreat for her late husband, Prince Philip. Well, Russia launches a new offensive in the Donbass region of eastern Ukraine. The Kremlin have confirmed the next phase of what it calls a special military operation is underway. President Biden has convened a conference call with Western allies to discuss how to respond. The West could be stepping up with more weapons to Ukraine, and a new round of sanctions is expected as well. A local florist is selling sunflowers to raise money for Ukraine. The national flower for Ukraine is a sunflower. So Higdon's florist in Joplin is collaborating with Samaritan's Purse to raise money for Ukraine by selling sunflowers. You can add one or more to your purchase of any arrangement, and all proceeds will go to help Ukraine.
Even just a little sunflower will make someone else's day, but it'll also go a long way to help Samaritan's Purse in their relief efforts in Ukraine.
The additional sunflowers will cost $5 per stem. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, green funerals.
Protecting the environment after life. I'm Danya Backus with a look at how funerals are going green.
And later, we're making weeknight Salisbury steak in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. When we think of protecting the environment, we think of options we can do while alive, like recycling or conserving water. But did you know there are green end-of-life options? Danya Backus looks at how people choose to protect the environment after life.
She was very strong and put up a really good fight.
Donna Augusto lost her mother to bladder cancer last April.
I knew that she wanted to be cremated and have some of her remains spread with my father's remains.
Instead of a traditional cremation, Donna decided to go with an eco-friendly water cremation, or aquamation. It combines warm water and an alkali solution to decompose the body.
It does not put any emissions into the air.
Phil Berrick is the president of White Rose Aqua Cremation in Escondido, California. He says water cremation uses 90% less energy than flame cremation.
How do people get ashes from this process?
At the end of this process, you still have the bones. The bones are then run through a processing machine that basically turns it into a very fine powder.
Aquamation is just one approach to environmentally friendly burials. Some people want to give directly to the earth by turning their body into compost.
What body composting is a managed biological process that occurs inside of a vessel.
Seth Vidal is the manager of the Natural Funeral in Lafayette, Colorado. Colorado, Oregon, and Washington are the 3 states where body composting is legal. The funeral home built a chrysalis composting vessel that turns remains into soil.
And inside that vessel, we place wood chips, alfalfa, straw, and then a microbial brew of both bacteria and fungal agents. And over the course of about 4 to 6 months, the body, along with those other organic bulking agents, are converted into a beautiful, rich, living soil.
The soil is then given to the family or donated to sanctioned farms. Vidal says most of his clients want to give back to the earth as their final act, a way to protect the environment after life. Danya Backus, CBS News, Escondido, California.
Aquamation is now legal in at least 20 states. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
Way before the South Beach diet and the paleo diet, there was another famous diet. What was it, and what made it so popular? Stick around.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Earlier this morning, and when it was raining cats and dogs down in Newton County and Jasper County, all throughout McDonald County as well, leaving us with a number of warnings and watches. We'll start with that patch right there that encompasses Joplin and spreads down to Neosho, as that is a flash flood warning, runs from Jasper into Newton. Now below that, where you see the lime green, those are flood warnings. That's going to be for Barry, McDonald, and Newton County, where we've already picked up about 3.5, 4 inches of rain in certain places, and then that lighter green on top. We'll kind of do them in order of operation here. That is a flood advisory, and that encompasses, we've got Barry, Jasper, Lawrence, and Newton that are all part of that flood advisory. But once again, we're able to ease off a little bit of that rain that we had down to the southern portion of the 4 states. Luckily, right now we're seeing it just move up into Jasper, Cherokee, Crawford, and Barton counties. But the good thing about that is that does take away from those places that are under the watches and current warnings as we speak. Kind of zoom in right here. Look at that heavy rain coming down just on the west side of Pittsburgh right there. Jasper is going to be next in line. That thing pretty much is riding Highway 126 right now, pushing off to the east. Now, on top of that, when we talk about those flooded areas down to the south, we also have numerous storm reports. Instead of going by them one by one, let's flash over to the Missouri Department of Transportation page and kind of get the official version of what we're seeing. Right here around the Neosho area, we've got Route D that is still closed. Drop down to the south, CC closed on the McDonald-Newton County line, and then Route D as you continue down to the south. Portions of Route D closed. Your best bet is just to avoid Route D for good until probably tomorrow, and try to avoid Route C as well if you are down south of I-44. Transition to 7th and Range Line over Joplin. 68 degrees is where we stand right now. We're going to keep those chances for some spotty rain all throughout the early afternoon hours. But after that, we're actually going to have a nice little warm up as if we haven't had one already. But we'll end up here in the mid-70s by the time it's all said and done. 2 things of note on the contiguous 48 map. Number 1, there's the ridge of the jet stream. Remember, you get underneath it. That's going to mean some warm temperatures that we're the recipients of. But as we were talking about those local storm reports, watch this, right in the middle of your screen. We're the lone storm report coming out of the entire United States in the last 24 hours. My point being, we're going to take precautions and make sure we stay away from those areas, but also, too, it's nice to see that the rest of the nation finally has a chance to calm down after what was anticipated to be some severe weather for the southeastern portion of the United States. Weather trend, little peak of sunshine before it's all said and done, and then we're going to push into what's going to be a warm Friday. All that moisture out to the west of us stops short of hitting our highlighted counties. Now, as we progress through Friday, however, watch this. We're going to replace those flood warnings with, in all probability, wind advisories. Those are not wind gusts. We're going to be sustained winds in between 25 and 30 miles per hour. Of course, since it works out of the south, that's easily going to let us get up into the high 70s, low 80s for Friday. Tanya, coming up on Saturday, great start to our weekend as well. The rain really won't kick in until the evening hours. So if you've got any plans and want to get some fresh air all day Friday, and really most of Saturday, especially the morning and early afternoon hours, going to be delightful. Wind will back off just a little bit on Saturday as well. Will not be as blustery on, still rather windy, but not the 25 to 30 mile an hour variety that we're going to get tomorrow.
Well, we can take that. I like that.
I'm glad you approve.
Yes.
I wish more track coaches and roofers would approve of my forecast.
You know why I approve? Because with a little bit of wind, it's going to dry out that grass faster, so I can get it mowed.
And you may actually be mowing by Saturday?
I'd like to get a little bit of it done Friday afternoon.
Okay.
Probably the rest of it Saturday.
I have a feeling that we will be talking about this into next week.
I have short windows of opportunity to do things, so
I understand.
I'm going to have to break it up.
I got you.
Yeah. It's my life. All right. Thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Corporal William Smith in the U.S. Army. The soldier from Iola, Kansas, joined the 306th Aerodrome Squadron in 1942. He was stationed at New Guinea, earning a number of honors, among them the American Service Medal, the Philippine Liberation Medal with 1 Bronze Star, and the World War II Victory Medal. To Corporal William Smith, we thank you, our 4-state hero. Today's recipe takes us back to the good old days, but it's still a favorite in the kitchen. Howard shows us how to make weeknight Salisbury steak in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Way before anyone heard of the South Beach and paleo diets, Dr. James Salisbury was touting a diet that was high in protein. One of the dishes that he not only made at home, but also made famous was Salisbury steak. Since it took place in the late 1800s, it proves that everything old, sooner or later, becomes new again. So let me share with you a simple weeknight version of Dr. Salisbury's creation that I know you're gonna love. All we do is combine some ground chuck with a chopped onion, a good amount of breadcrumbs, an egg, and a few off-the-shelf spices. After we gently mix that, we shape it into oval patties and place them in a baking dish. Now, to give these their rich flavor, we smother them with some beef gravy that we combine with some sliced mushrooms. About 45 minutes before it's time to eat, pop these in the oven, and by the time you open your mail and heat up some mashed potatoes, dinner is done. One forkful, and it's no wonder why these are still popular after all these years. It's comfort at its best. So, to salute the late Dr. Salisbury and to keep your taste buds happy, why don't you go online and get the recipe for our weeknight Salisbury steak so you can enjoy a goof-proof dinner any night of the week. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an old-fashioned, trendy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Little pops of rain going to hang around for the rest of the afternoon. Nothing organized nor severe, and should be done with this by, say 3, 4 o'clock. It'll be a thing of the distant past. Get ready for warm temperatures tomorrow. Also, get ready to be nearly blown away. We will have sustained winds around 30 miles per hour all day through Friday.
Sustained?
Hold on to your hats. It's the Queen's 96th birthday today, so that's why that's there.
And she's looking good, don't you think?
Yeah. What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
At 5, every 20 minutes, someone in the U.S. dies on the organ transplant waiting list. April is National Donate Life Month. It's a time designed to highlight the importance of organ donation. In Health Watch, we're going to meet a teen who overcame tremendous odds because of a stranger's life-saving act. Plus, KCU medical student returns from the Boston Marathon with a new outlook on medicine. And we'll check out a Czech presentation helping to realize the creation of a Black History mural in Joplin at 5.
All right, thank you for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.